I have a question for you today from the No G Spot. What's better than gluten-free apple pie? Handheld gluten-free apple pies. Almost like McDonald's, but much better. As per usual, we'll go through the ingredients and then we'll start baking. For today's filling, you will need 3 firm green apples, peeled, cored, and diced. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, half a cup of light brown sugar, and half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1 tablespoon of lukewarm water. For the dough, you'll need 2 1/4 cups gluten-free flour, 1 teaspoon xanthan gum, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/4 cup cornstarch, 3/4 cup sugar, 8 tablespoons of butter at room temperature, 1 egg, also at room temperature, beaten, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, make sure it's gluten-free, and 4 to 6 tablespoons of milk at room temperature also. You'll need egg wash, which is 1 egg plus 1 tablespoon of milk mixed together. For the glaze, you'll need 1 cup of confectioner's sugar, 1 teaspoon of meringue powder, and 3 to 5 teaspoons of warm water. We're going to make the filling first and then allow that to cool. While that's cooling, we'll go ahead and make the crust dough for the crust, and then we'll fill it and bake them. For the filling, you're just going to combine all of the ingredients in a medium-sized saucepan and cook on medium. Just keep stirring until the apples get soft and the mixture has thickened, just over 5 minutes. After that's happened, remove from the heat and allow the mixture to cool before handling any further. For the crust, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. In a large bowl, place all of your dry ingredients. Use a whisk and combine them first. Then create a well inside of it, like a cup or, just an indent in the center. To this, you will add your egg, butter, milk, and vanilla. Make sure you add the milk at about 2 tablespoons at a time. That way, if it's dry, you can feel free to add more milk at that time by the half teaspoon, as much as needed to get the dough to stick together. Knead your dough until it's nice and smooth, and then prepare to roll it out. Not too thin, as you will see, because we're going to make our circles and then roll those circles into a larger round. After that, with damp fingers, moisten the edge of your circles. Fill 1/3 the way with your filling. And don't forget to use your wax paper to hold it and keep all of the contents inside and maintain your shape while pinching the edges together to make a half circle. Then we're going to poke or give a couple of slashes across the top so the steam can release while baking. Place on your sprayed baking sheet and then repeat until your dough and or filling is finished. So here we have 2 apples already cored, peeled, and prepared. You can basically use a vegetable peeler If it's not peeled completely perfect, don't worry about it. I've made this recipe quite a few times, and sometimes I have forgotten to peel the apple. And important, please wash your apple before peeling. How big are the pieces that you want to cut? Well, I like them a little on the smaller side, only because there's usually so much filling made that it's left over more than the dough. There you go. About that size. That's nice. And when you have leftover of the apple filling, you get to put it on top of ice cream, pancakes, even waffles or pork chops. So there you have it. It's about the size that you want them. I already have the cinnamon and sugar inside of the pot. Combine your lukewarm water and your apples. Everybody should be covered with the brown sugar and cinnamon combination. You just want to keep stirring this for about 5-6 minutes. As it cooks, it will reduce in size and increase in moisture. It smells so nice in here. Let's see how it's coming along. Mmm, already tastes like apple pie. It's been about 5 minutes and the apples have reduced to half the amount that was originally in the pot. Make sure you stir it up completely. That way all of the apple pieces gets coated with the liquid that is now going to turn into a gummy, nice thick yumminess as it cools. The recipe for the dough that will be making our crust was at the beginning of the video, and we're going to incorporate all of our dry ingredients. Give a quick whisk. You just want to make sure that all of the ingredients have been combined. After putting it into your mixer, or if you're just doing it by hand, God bless you, create a well inside of the center. I can't really show you what that is because if I took the bowl and tipped it over to show you, then the well would collapse and you would just see flour. So create an indentation inside of the flour in the center that goes down and creates a divot or a well or a cup. That is where you will be putting your egg and vanilla. Give that a quick clean out. And your butter. Now I'll give that a quick mix just to get those guys started and combined, and then I will add the milk a little bit at a time. This case, I am using house milk, which is hemp milk. It's a gluten-free alternative that suits us very well. We've tried the almond, the soy, the rice, this nut, that nut, and the hemp milk works best with this family. Everybody can consume it without any problems. Of course, it's the most expensive one out there, but it works for our family as a dairy-free and gluten-free alternative. As you know, these mixers get kind of loud, so we'll probably play some music and fast forward through these. It's a really thick dough. It looks really gooey and almost like Play-Doh. So I'm going to actually let the dough chill for a little bit. Just a technique I've picked up that seems to work well with gluten-free flours, or at least this mixture that I use. So I'll see you in about 10 minutes. Okay, so last night we had a couple of technical difficulties. The camera battery died during taping, and I didn't know until after I finished rolling out the dough and giving instructions on how to cut them out using your technical shape forming tool, and filling them, which requires a spoon and your apple mixture. Scoop it in, put it into the center, fold it up. So after I did that, also the dough did not act right. So I put him back in the fridge and let him think about his actions overnight and decide if he really wanted to live life that way. Fortunately for us, the dough decided to cooperate this morning. So we're going to get right back at it. With your rolling pin and our friendly wax paper. Put your dough between the wax paper, and you have saved the time and messiness of having to sprinkle flour on your countertop. If your item is sliding, then you have too much pressure on the pin. Just slide the wax paper back and roll again. Just roll your dough out. Every few rolls, you'll want to turn it to the top, turn it around, and roll in a different direction. The question is always about how thick do you want your crust to be? Well, let's start right here and see where we are. Okay. That's not a bad thickness. So I think we will stay about there. And then we'll take these and transfer them to another piece of wax paper. Just for a moment. Some in the center might be a bit thicker. You can roll those out later to make bigger rounds. Okay, so I have 5 so far. I'm going to put this dough aside. and bring these back. Flip them over just so I can remove the paper that they have been transferred to, and give them a quick, gentle roll. You don't want them too thin. We did have one that was a bit thicker than the others, so let's take a look. There we go. I'm going to take one round teaspoon of your apple filling, and there we go. It's a nice amount. Your best bet is going to be to use the same wax paper and fold it, just to give yourself a beginning grip on whether or not you have too much filling. Maybe you have to take a little bit of filling out, like this one. Just a little bit. There we go. Just kind of pinch the edges together. Using the wax paper to catch any liquid that drains out, and make sure that your filling stays inside. Use your wax paper and try not to get too much of the liquid from the apples inside of your dough, or it will turn your dough into mush. Okay? Again, we're going to just pinch the edges. Drain excess and continue pinching the edges as you go. Okay. And there is your mini apple pie. And repeat. I'm going to go ahead and get the recipes filled out, and I'll let you know when we're ready to bake. So here's our batch, and just give a quick poke to everybody. And into the oven they go. We'll see them in a few minutes, and I'll see you then. All right, guys, let's take a look at what we've got in the oven. Ooh, ooh, these look really good. Now, I must admit, this is not one of those recipes where they come out all nice and totally toasty brown looking. They're just a little bit darker than when they went in. And the closer you have them to the heat source, the darker they will be. You will know that they are finished when your crust has thickened and it's nice and hard and has a little tap to it. So I'm going to go ahead and shelve things out. Looks like guests are here just in time. Just one thing left to do now. Let's taste and see. These are really yummy. Really, really yummy. Well, until next time, thanks for joining me. Love you all.